Welcome, Nicolas.
Thank you, Xavier.
Next to your consulting activities, you serve today as the chairman of a family holding structure controlling a large international industrial group. And you are also a member of a family council governing the affairs of nearly 350 descendants. This is a relay baton for sprinters. The quality of the exchange of the baton between any two runners can determine success or failure. Efficiently handing over, or should I say passing the baton within family businesses to ensure the continuity of their success.
And I'd say it has, two aspects. One is, as you just mentioned, passing the baton from one generation to the other, from a family leader to the next generation. That is one. I actually see potentially, especially in family businesses, the idea that, shareholders pass the baton to a board, and a board passes the baton to the CEO, and the CEO passes the baton. If all these handovers happen smoothly and go in the same direction, actually you might have a good run. Before we try to define what good governance looks like, I would say let's talk a little bit about what we mean with governance.
Indeed.
Because most of the time when you ask people, what's your governance like, they always concentrate on the structure, okay? But you have to keep in mind, especially in a family business, that actually structure is only one of the components of a good governance system. Structure is fine, structure is important, but it's actually the easiest thing to set up. Designing a structure, there are very good books on the topic. It's not that difficult. What is difficult is make that structure work, which is why we believe that, governance is all about what is around that structure, the people that you put in that structure. How do you choose those people? How do you elect them? How do you appoint them? What do you expect from them? The second thing is there are lots of processes. What is it that makes, the board getting the information it needs from its shareholders? Unlike listed companies, even though family businesses can be extremely large and delisted as well, there is a critical task of listening to the shareholder, and likewise for the shareholder, understanding what is happening at the board level, but also in the day-to-day running. So the whole information flow is absolutely critical. It's much more teamwork.
Sure.
It's teamwork, and so the interactions between these people are critical. Again, it's not only about who you put on your board or who you put in any other committee, it's also about, are these people going to trust one another? Do we really believe that they're willing to exchange information openly and together craft something? So good governance for me, of course, you need the right structure, you need the right people, and you need the right processes. Nothing to do even with the people, but just about how the whole system actually works in sync. Yeah.
Yes. Do you see any difference between good governance or governance in family-owned business versus governance in standard corporation or something?
If you want to run a family business, and I will say family business, a family-controlled business, because most of the largest family businesses in the world are actually stock listed. With a big reference shareholder that is a family group. You need to know a little bit more than the stock goes up or the stock goes down. You need to know, what does this family want? How is this family looking at the future? What are the fundamentals that the family doesn't want to compromise on? What I often see is a sort of confusion between the role of a family member as a family shareholder and the role of a family member as an executive in a company. These are two distinct differences, and the family is not there to tell the executives how they should run, how they should manage. The family is there to say, look, these are the boundaries. This is the playing field. Within that, you can do absolutely what you want to achieve your objectives, but these are the boundaries. Family members, the stock price is of lesser interest to them. Why? Because they're not going to sell. It's as simple as that. I think the role of family members on the board is actually not only to help, of course, the company to go further and develop, but it's also there to say, hey, we are here representing a family. We have a mandate from the family, which is that playing field that we mentioned earlier. And I think it's critical for independent board members to know and understand actually what is the sort of mandate the family is giving to the company and its governance to execute. I'd say first thing is succession and transmission usually happens too late, one. Two, it's happening late and therefore it should be better prepared. So the whole preparation is also a preparation of thinking about the future of the company and then sort of matching that with, what is the right type of leader for us. And that's really taking a lot of time, one. Two, I think you don't do that just by your own. You need to have someone external. He would be able to moderate, facilitate, and get the people together to a common assumption of, yeah, that's what we need to do. That is the first key criteria in a family business is you got to appoint people you trust. If they earn your trust, they probably have some competencies. And there you move to stage two, which I would say, okay, now let's go for expertise. And that's then opening the way for a lot of other people that can join your board. If as a family you want to open up your board to non-family members, don't hire one external board member, always hire two. For a very simple reason. These two guys will be able to compare their notes. Usually, the board member of the future is the CEO of the past. That is the most important competency that a board member should have, is being able to ask questions and understand the answer, which means they should also have a little bit of knowledge of the industry, the competition, etc. Maybe simple to say that intellectual curiosity, learning agility for a board member of whichever age is critical.
Are those board members well informed?
You have to think of a board member as someone who, plugs in and then leaves, and plugs in again and leaves. Well, at the moment he leaves the board and goes on with his life and then comes back, how do you replug all the things that need to be replugged? They also need to have the tools, the information, the understanding, so that they can make an informed decision. Governance is about getting information, discussing information, and making decisions.